So I was driving along in the country looking for something to paint, and suddenly this struck me. It wasn't where I was intending to go. I was going to go down to Cooley Lake, but I think I'll do plein air painting doesn't need to be sitting out, as long as you're where the light changes and the weather can have a difference. It's a beautiful fall day, so I've spread out here in my cheapy studio the console with my paints, water supply. I'm going to spray my paints so that they soften some and are ready to go. This is the base to my little sprayer, and it holds my water supply, and I'm going to stick to mostly one or two brushes for this. And I'm using Kramer watercolors that are very prone to granulating. I like them a lot. Just keeping it very, very simple here. Doing this in my lap and holding the camera in one hand is rather entertaining, but weird. Spattering to suggest some of the variation in the foliage. And I'm going to add some spatter to the soybean field here. And a little green up in the corn, because it is different. And I need to pick up this edge down here that's forming, or it's going to make an ugly bit. So touching it with my tissue. And you can also create some interesting textures by blotting a bit here and there. Tree-like textures. See? Looks foliagey. Yeah, I'm liking that. Keep turning your tissue so that you don't deposit too much gunk where you don't want it. And once again, I need to turn off the camera so I can paint. Here, let me move that into the shade a little bit so you might be able to see. And doing some dancing strokes here to suggest the individual plants. Oops. Bright sunlight today, so it's not the most atmospheric painting day, but as you can see, I'm just kind of adding some of the texture of the corn. Or maybe you can't see if I don't pay attention where I'm aiming the camera. And it's okay if it blends with the grass down here. The Kramer paints are very different from what I normally use, but interesting just the same. So a little bit more shadow down in here. Oops. Might have waited till that was dry. Okay, we'll blot. Back when I used to work at Hallmark, we always had a tissue in one hand so that we could quickly fix our mistakes, and I believe that's one of the best things I ever learned. You can come back in and get a little more definition for these trees, the shadows at the bases. I'm using some of the same green I had earlier, but with a little different approach. Okay, this actually was quite dark. That's what caught my eye, and that's why I stopped. So I guess I'd like to emphasize it just a little more. And again, let that brush dance. Not too hard an edge. I can always go back in and soften, of course. Okay, this is just a quick sketch